Okay. So now we are recording the service, the live Zoom service. Oh, yay, here come the McLeans. The live Zoom service will be available online later, as will be a video YouTube service. So we will get messages out when all of that is available. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay. With that, we'll have our lovely bell ringer stand and begin our service. You can stay right there, sweetie.
Right
You're
there,
good.
back.
You're good. Good. Perfect.
Turn around. There we go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Becky.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to UCV.
Oh, Ruth, can you come up here, please?
As I come up here.
That
Good
way-
morning, everyone, and welcome to UCV, a church that strives to follow the teachings and the examples of Jesus. Thus, we are called to radically welcome, unconditionally love, include the unincluded, in short, to be a beloved community. Today we celebrate our 27th anniversary as a church. Whether you are a charter member who attended the very first worship, that'd be Donna and Lynn, on September 19th, 2020, or someone who has just joined us along the way, we're glad you are with us today. Welcome, everyone.
And then sing for music. And you'll see that we have an opening song, but sadly we can't sing. So we're going to sing with our hands today. And let me just quickly, so the thing is there when I tell you.
Then you have
Dance with the Spirit, and let me just go over the
Lynn, we have to be behind there. Sorry.
Okay, let me go over how we're going to do this. So the first is dance with the Spirit. Whatever motion you want to do to make dance with the Spirit early in the morning. Walk with the Spirit throughout the long day. Work and hope. Okay, everybody paying attention? Work and hope for a new day of bornness. Listen to the Spirit to show you the way. Let's practice that once. Whatever you do for dance, dance with the Spirit early in the morning. Walk with the Spirit throughout the long day. Work and hope for a new day at born, and listen to the Spirit to show you the way. All right, with music. we have a call to worship, and we're really not supposed to speak out that loud either. So we're going to do that with sign language too. There are only 2 words that you need to as your response in the call to worship. The first one is gracias, thank you. You know, I might do this or this, whatever says thank you to you. And the other one we've already practiced is dance. Whenever the response is dance anyway, whatever floats your boat in dancing is what we need. So, when life is good and everything seems easy and assured, we say, gracias, thank you. In the hard times, when we struggle just to put one foot in front of the other, we say, gracias, thank you. Dance anyway. For our little church that today celebrates 27 years of striving to be a beloved community, we say, gracias, thank you. In this COVID time, when it seems all we can do is tread water, we remember to dance anyway. For this beautiful, beautiful building we can see, but not yet enter, we say, gracias, thank you. Dance anyway.
Will you join me in a spirit of prayer? Generous and loving God, we thank you so much for our church home, for United Church of the Valley that has given us a place of love and support for 27 years, that has sought to serve this community, to bring about justice and peace, and to be an example of living in love. We ask your blessing on all gathered here, whether in person, online, or with us in spirit. We ask that we would all feel like family, that this church would be our home, and that even though we cannot enter these doors, that we will still gather in our hearts. Be with us now as we celebrate your grace, love, and mercy for 27 years. Amen.
So here we are. After 27 years, we're this close to having a place of our own for worship, but we're not in yet. I've struggled a bit to find the right space. I'll follow the Old Testament lectionary reading from the book of Exodus, recounting the story of the Israelites.
Do you set a picture? Start picture.
Unbelief. We can relate to the wilderness wandering part, having worshiped in 3 churches, 5 schools, a storefront, historic house, vacant lot on Clinton Keith, Masonic Center, and now wandering in cyberspace. But I can't buy that God has been punishing us for our disobedience. So then I turn to the story of Job. Job is a wealthy man with extended family, vast flocks, and according to the Bible, he is upright, feared God, and turned away from all evil. God writes to Satan about Job's virtue, but Satan says Job is only righteous because God has favored him generously. That's like when Charlie Brown was lamenting that nobody loved him except Snoopy, and Lucy interrupts, Well, that doesn't count. Snoopy only loves you because you feed him. Anyway, Satan challenges that if inflicted with enough suffering, Job would change and curse God. Job loses his sheep, servants, 10 children. But through it all, Job never totally gives up hope or faith in God. Keeping faith and hope alive through hardships, albeit hopefully not caused by a wager between God and Satan, is something with which UCB can relate. UCB has faced lots of challenges in our first 27 years. And amid them, some folks have moved on, but others have joined us on the journey. Throughout, people have remained faithful through every test. So, still looking for the right scripture to guide our thinking about what we do now. So very close, but still waiting. I think I found the right passage. Quoting from the Gospel of Facebook. Life is not about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain. And you can't change the waves, but you can learn to surf. The wisdom of the internet, sometimes. We've actually done a pretty good job of living both of those means, haven't we? But now perhaps we face the biggest challenge of all. How are we going to use our new building and discern what we are called to be and do? What a waste it would be to have a sanctuary only for ourselves, to be used exclusively on Sunday mornings. My hope is we can create a place of peace and refuge. Can we practice peace? Can we find ways to enable peace? And a place of unity that embraces diversity. Can we be a model for learning to respect and listen to each other, for bringing our community together? And a place of welcome and inclusion for all who enter. Easy to say, and even pretty easy to believe, but not so easy always to put it into practice. And a place of joy and fiesta. I walk my dog Ori past Calamasa Resort every morning and every evening. The resort is in the midst of a big renovation project. And every day a crew of workers, mostly Hispanic, spent hours in the hot sun tearing off rotted wood and hammering on new surfaces. Very often in the evening, we would walk by just as they were finished work for the day. They have happy music blaring as they sit by their truck drinking beer. The first time I saw them, I was a bit annoyed at first because it kind of disturbed whatever reverie I was in. And then it struck me. They have the gift of celebrating in community, even in the simplest of ways. Most of us would have retreated to our televisions or computers or phones. They were celebrating life. We need to remember that lesson. And of course, a place where we can learn and be supported in following Jesus' teachings. We're already a community that values these things and who cares for one another. How do we move to make this vision a reality? How do we find our purpose and stand for justice? How can we move to ensure that our new building is able to help us accomplish these visions and not just be a financial dream? I suppose you're noticing that I'm asking more questions than giving answers. I hope we all can find those answers together. So now, even in the midst of a pandemic, maybe especially with COVID, our reawakening to racial injustice, and a country torn apart by deeply entrenched differences, there's no more waiting until. Right here is what we've been waiting so long for. Now, how are we going to use it to do God's work? We must decide if we're going to be known as the people of soon as COVID is over, we get more members, our finances improve, or the people who dance anyway, the people who recognize adversity, well, it wasn't on there, I don't know where it is now, who choose to pick up their umbrellas and their masks and dance anyway, rather than waiting for the storm to pass. That, of course, includes developing our cyber church presence and creatively finding ways to include in our fellowship those who join us on Zoom. The internet has allowed us to draw our circle wider still, to include those who are not able to be physically present. I had thought that this was the message I wanted to share in the cusp of the new chapter in the life of UCV. However, in these times that are so troubling, stressful, and paralyzing on so many levels, I came across a book recently that I purchased maybe 2 years ago in the Managua airport. Gracias was written by the brilliant Dutch theologian Henry Nouwen. Nouwen spent several months in Peru trying to discern his purpose and a vision for what kind of ministry he felt called to. Reading his book, and especially the conclusion in the midst of all the chaos and worry that seems to enshroud us right now, he offers a different version based on his experience of living within an impoverished Latino community, of living a life of gracias, gratitude and grace. Nouwen writes, gratitude is the one most visible characteristic of the poor I've come to know. I'm always surrounded by words of thanks. Thanks for your visit, your blessing, your prayer, your gifts, your presence with us. Even the smallest and most necessary goods, like toilet paper, are a reason for gratitude. This all-pervading gratitude is the basis for celebration. That's the fiesta after work at Palamesa. Not only are the poor grateful for life, but they celebrate life constantly. A visit, a reunion, simple meeting are always like little celebrations. Every time a new gift is recognized.
This 120th U.S. Open Championship is sponsored by American Express. Now is the time to shop small and support the places you love.
Anytime there was a meeting, and anytime we came, we were always presented, and there was always a feeling of celebration and fiesta. And Nouwen continues, and every gift is shared. All of life is a gift to be celebrated, a gift to be shared. Thus, the poor are Eucharistic people who know how to say thanks to God, to life, and to each other. They may not come to Mass every week, Nouwen observes, but in their hearts, they're deeply religious, because for them, all of life is a fiesta with God. In many of the families I visited, Nouwen says, nothing was certain, nothing totally safe. Maybe there would be food for tomorrow, maybe there would be work, maybe there would be peace tomorrow. Maybe, maybe not. But whatever is given, money, food, a handshake, a smile, a good word, is a reason to rejoice and say gracias. What I claim as a right, my friends in Peru perceived as a gift. What I take for granted, they celebrate in Thanksgiving. What for me is unnoticed, for them became a new occasion to say thanks. Nouwen spoke of his vision of a ministry of presence. He mentions recognizing that it was his natural urge to do something significant. And soon he was bogged down with meetings, study groups, workshops that prevented him from walking the streets and meeting people. He observed, but more and more I wonder if the first thing I shouldn't be doing is getting to know the people by name, eat and drink with them, to listen to their stories and tell your own. To let them know with words, handshakes, and hugs, well, maybe not right now, that you do not simply like them, but you truly love them. He says it would be a ministry of presence, but an active, articulate, considered presence. It would be a mutual ministry of continuous receiving and giving. It would be contemplation and action, celebration and liberation, study and work. Finally, now one challenges us all to live out our Christian commitment in the concrete events of each day. He poses a question for us all to think about. How did I put my life in service to the kingdom of God today? He admonishes us to be humble in the true Christian sense of staying close to the ground, to the people, to everyday life. It opens our eyes for the presence of God on earth, even in the pandemic, and allows us to live grateful lives. As one who is drawn to planning and then stressing over grand projects, these are sage words for me to contemplate, and I suspect for many of you. So, may our new sanctuary be truly a sanctuary, where all are safe, welcomed and included, where we can find peace, be joyful, and above all, to listen, hear other stories, and rejoice in all things. To say gracias, thank you, and dance in sunshine or in rain, knowing that God walks with us on our journey. May it be so. Amen. There's supposed to be a song next. Then you're going to have to wait. That'll be a good reason to listen on the video that will come up later today. You see the words to it, the song is to the tune of Lord of the Dance, and the words that you have there obviously are for this occasion of our anniversary. So I encourage you to listen to the video later today.
I invite you to join me in this time of communion. I'm going to give you a moment to pull out your own communion elements. Everyone online, everyone here gathered. And if you don't have any communion elements, that's okay, because communion is a spiritual meal. And we may use our spiritual elements. When I look around at these faces, and when I enjoy the chatter I'm hearing online, I am reminded that we are a family, that we are there for one another in good times and in bad, and that we are there to support each other in times of quarantine and in times of rejoicing. Jesus likewise had his group of friends that he was very close to, his closest followers that he turned to in his times of need. The ones that he gathered with him the night that he knew that he was going to be betrayed and eventually crucified. Those are the people that he wanted around him at that moment. And he knew how much they were going to miss him when he was gone. And so he instituted this meal of remembrance, so that every time we partake of the bread and the cup, we too can join with them as one family around the table. And so it was on that night that Jesus took the bread. He blessed it, broke it, and gave it to everyone gathered, saying, "Take and eat. This is my body broken for you." In like manner, he took the cup and again blessed it, gave thanks for it, and gave it to everyone gathered, saying, "Take and drink. This is the cup of the love and my life that I have poured out for you." And so it is every time we eat this bread and we drink this cup, we too remember Jesus, and we too gather as one family together, sharing that meal of remembrance. Amen.
I'm waiting for your cue. Okay. We're supposed to sing Hallelujah. We probably really shouldn't be doing that either as a group. So let's use our hands again and just do Hallelujah. 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 God go with you. May God walk where you walk, guide where you must make choices, comfort where you hurt, and surprise you with God's continued love for you and who you are and what you do. Go in peace.
Amen. And now we are going to have tours of our space, but the first tour is going to the folks online. So I'm going to walk them through, and then you guys can start queuing up.
Can I make my announcement for who
Lynn, you're in charge.
you guys?
All right, guys, let me try. Sorry, I'm having a, oh, hang on a second. Feel free to unmute yourselves while I try to figure out how in the world. Okay, there we go. All right. This is really not working in my favor here. Hang on one second. I'm trying to spotlight the one I've got for you.
Debbie delivered a quilt to Jennifer Martinez family.
For some reason, it's not letting me spotlight my video because I'm the host. But hopefully, because I'm talking, you guys can see the space.
It is spotlighted. I can see it.
Okay, awesome. All right, so here we're coming in through our front doors, and we're hoping to have something very welcoming on this door, this front wall here, that people will see when they come in. Sort of like a visual hug, we keep calling it. This area is going to be our welcome area, and we're going to have some sort of table or perhaps that credenza set up with information about the church. And if you have any questions, just jump in and ask them. This room is going to be our kids' room. It's got a nice, lovely window, and it has this glass door for safety. And just a quick peek over here, some of the stuff that we got from the Center for Spiritual Living. We've got these lovely cubbies. Aren't those adorable? We could use a few more boxes, so if you are crafty. This is going to be our cry room. We're hoping to have at least one very nice, comfortable chair in here. I should call it our quiet room. We hope no one's crying in here. We hope to have one nice, comfortable chair in here, especially for our nursing moms. And as you can see, it's got this huge window with an unobstructed view of the sanctuary. Over here, we have our little kitchenette, which is under construction by the multi-talented Ruth. Ruth Sharp is putting in new cabinets and new countertops, and that's going to be where we make our morning coffee and have our communion supplies. And this is our sanctuary space. Right now, as you can see, we have it set up for social distancing. We have 25 chairs in here because we anticipate when we are given the green light to open, and when we as a council and a church feel like it's safe to open, we're only going to be able to have 25 people attend. And actually, it almost looked like somebody put some extra chairs in there.
Not done with that?
Not yet. There's our little cubbies. We've got this huge closet, which is now a black hole. Let's see if there's a light. We have this huge closet where we can store all of our supplies and our extra chairs. We've got our supplies sitting here right now just because it's a work in progress. Let me take you to the back of the sanctuary and kind of get an idea of what the front space is going to look like. You see our altar and our lectern are up there. Off to the right, we anticipate having our music area. So our musicians and singers would be over there. And we do have spotlights, so we could turn off these large fluorescents and use our spotlights if we want to create a more contemplative space. So that's basically it for our new sanctuary. You guys have any questions or anything you want to see? Awesome. Well, I'm so glad you're here. I'm going to stop recording, and then you guys can have coffee time and fellowship time.